All right, welcome everybody to the Ref Room. It is Wednesday. I am Scott Smokin. Silz. We are only coming to you on YouTube today, so if you're not seeing us on Facebook, there's a reason why, but should be back there next week. We had some upgrades and all that good stuff, so we'll just roll the way we're rolling. So what's going on with you?
Like the running 4-year joke, but whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, upgrades. Like we just got a major upgrade today, so it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is. Hey, so did you see what's going on tonight, or you been under a tree? Or?
I'm under a tree. What's going on tonight?
What? Four Nations start tonight.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm not under that tree apparently.
All right, that's okay. Who you rooting for? Just out of curiosity.
The Americans, of course.
Okay.
Austin Matthews should lead us to victory. Okay, the guy from Arizona. He's the one that should take us to the promised land.
Definitely not going to the Graceland from Arizona.
Now, what do they do if Trump annexes the Canada? Then we'll only have 3 nations playing.
You can only fly across the river.
Right.
Bond. It's a big
so
bond.
we won't need a passport to go there anymore, I guess, huh? So that'd be cool.
Well, to Canada? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems kind of difficult to avoid, considering a lot of those roads just kind of cross over and there's nobody there. So, but
yeah,
it is what it is. But no, it was funny. I was looking at it, and it was media day today, I believe, or yesterday. So they were doing all the photos, and all those guys are out there having a good time. And I'm just thinking to myself, boy, they're just compiling onto an already long hockey season as we're coming up to the playoffs here.
Yeah,
and I'm like, they're doing this out of the goodwill, and I'm like, boy, just another thing, but, it's amazing to see when they do events like this and the stars come out. So, I don't know. I enjoy it, but the first game's tonight. I know that. So, I'm glad we're going to check this now.
Well, I'm readjusting you since you can't flip your computer monitor a little bit. That's all.
The room's
you know how we roll.
Big.
Yeah. So, the big news in amateur hockey, did you see the parent that pushed the 2 young referees over that were they 12 or 14 years old, something like that? Parent came out on the ice, father came out there and shoved them both over. Apparently he wasn't happy with the game they called, so he wanted to get his $40 worth out of it from each of them. So he shoved them over. And how that is not an assault charge like they're talking about it. Like, how was that guy not arrested? If you were a parent in the stands there or a coach, how could you not have called and had that guy arrested? I mean, that was just like stupidity. The parents are out of control, man. They're out of control. We see it here. It's not like we haven't seen it here. I mean, it's more so the out-of-state parents, I will say that, but it's the Wild West. But yeah.
It's common. In all sports, Scott. And, the good thing is that with our sport, at least we have boards and glass. I mean, the amazing part is that, he got out there, and if you look, there's a coach right there on the bench, right? Now, I would assume that's his parent or his assistant, whatever. I don't know. The story is, all over the place with it right now.
Yeah.
But, okay, if I'm a dad on that team or the coach on that team, how are you not stopping that guy? You're gonna just kind of,
Just
lets him go right by.
There's no excuse for it.
There's no reason, and he had to go 20 feet down the bench.
Yeah.
Did he not?
It's not like and lesson for officials. If you're a newer official or you're watching this video, if somebody's coming out on the ice, they're not coming out there for anything good. That's number 1. Number 2, you have skates on. They don't. Don't stand there. Move somewhere else. And that way, when you're on Live Barn or whatever video camera they're getting you on, when they go to court, they'll see that you are trying to get out of the way. You are not engaging. You are going to another direction, and that person is going to try to get to you, which will make it even worse for them.
Or hilarious for us, whichever one.
Yeah, or
start seeing
let's just hope they,
trying to chase somebody.
let's not wish it on them that they fall on their tailbone and crack their head wide open on that ice, and then your game is delayed because you got to clean it up. Another job for the referee that he's not going to be paid for, but one that he's probably happy to take care of at that point.
You know what, Scott? I think the one thing is this could be a learning experience. Now, of course, this is inexperienced officials, so we're not putting them down at all. But any issue that happens on the ice can always be a learning experience. And one experience is when you are on the ice, if you and your partner are standing face to face talking, yes, we're talking to each other. You should be looking past each other to see who's behind you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. And it could have been a player, and a player would come up a lot faster,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot harder, could have
Absolutely.
been way worse. So,
Well,
just,
I gotta
just
tell you,
keep those
I
things
mean-
in mind to be aware.
The state of officiating right now, it's with the younger, newer officials, it's always tough. It's always tough. I mean,
Always.
as a coach now, I had a kid a couple weeks ago. It was his second game. I think it took him longer to find the ref room than it did to do the game that we were on. And he ended up doing it by himself, and it's like, I get it. Like, he's going to do the best job he can. You're only capable of doing so much. But, we get older. We get the high school players, they're varsity players. They still struggle at a squirt game with an offside or an icing.
There's 50-year-old men that struggle with offsides or icing.
Yeah.
We did a clinic with a high school varsity team with 3 very, very good coaches. We did it, and they asked us to come for their team. So 4 of us got out there and we did it. And when we
And
were
you are
talking
breaking up.
about offsides,
You are breaking up like
none of
crazy.
them
You
knew
might
that
want
could
to. Yeah, you're breaking up.
turn off your 1080 camera and this wouldn't happen.
It's not 4K, okay? If it was 4K, we could talk, but it's only 1080, and I've got high-speed internet, so I'm good. But you're not. Yeah. All right, start over because you're still a little fuzzy.
Anyways, so we had a referee group go out and do a high school team, like a mini seminar for them to see what it was like to show the kids that it's not that easy. And with 3 prominent head coaches, and they couldn't comprehend that you could straddle a blue line and have 1 foot on contact with the blue line and on sides. Like, none of them. And they're like, that's the first time I've ever heard this. You've been around a long time. You don't know that that's how this works? Like, rules are hard, number one.
Yeah. I mean,
And then when you get people that should know them, they don't know them.
all you need is the touch of a blade, and that's that thick to be onside. You may think they're offside. That's all they need is to touch that blade. And we just lost Brad. I'm sure he's going to pop back in. But yeah, and it's confusing for a lot of people because the determining edge changes. You are, let me re-answer him. Here, let's see if he comes back in.
There you go. You're good. Keep going.
Yeah. But, there's the determining edge, and the determining edge of the blue line changes. If we're looking at a rink like that, unfortunately, it's going to keep moving. Let me see if I can pause this. All right. There, it's paused. But that blue line, pick which one you want because my pointer won't show up there. Let's see if I can make a pointer show up there. I don't know if I can.
The closest one, Scott.
This one. But anyway, the point being that if you're going into the zone, let's say we're coming into the zone towards the bottom of the screen, the front edge of that line that's towards the circles, that's the determining edge. But when the puck goes out, going to the other direction, the determining edge is the back of the line. So a lot of people struggle with that. And I see high school guys playing varsity.
So,
They keep the puck on the line. The team's coming in, the puck stays on the line, and then all of a sudden they get called for offsides. And they're like, why is that the case? Because the puck has not come into the zone until it fully crosses the line, just like it's not out of the zone until it fully crosses the line. Not on the line, not part of the line. Yeah. But hopefully that.
So the easy way to explain it, Scott, is the blue lines are a part of the zone the puck is leaving. So is the puck is in the neutral zone, both blue lines all the way to their entirety, to the outside, to the next zone, are part of the zone. When it's in an end zone, leaves the zone. So it's that other side. That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hope everybody understands that. You know, and believe it or not, there's 6 pages in the book. If you look at the case book, now I know a lot of you think the rule book is this thick, and but the book we get is this thick, and it's the case book. And there are 6 pages in there on icing. 6 pages on icing. Everybody thinks it's really simple. Puck gets shot down, it's an icing, bring it back. It's way more complex than that. And a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of judgment involved in that. Did a player avoid trying to play the puck? Did a player not skate in the direction of the puck? Did they skate away from it? Are they trying to get a whistle? There's just so much that goes into it. So that comes with experience. And, it's a gray area, just like a lot of hockey has a lot of gray areas in it. The rule book is not black and white, it is gray. So it's subject to interpretation on a lot of stuff, and I don't think people always understand that. So if you're losing your mind at a game and you're watching experienced referees work, they probably understand the book and why they're doing it, and they're probably all on the same page. But sitting in the stands, you may not understand. You think icing's icing. They threw the puck down. Doesn't matter if it went right under the guy's stick and right through his legs. It went down. He didn't touch it. Well, that's a playable puck. It's no longer an icing. Part of that 6-page.
The one that I find enjoyable is where, a defensive team shoots it, and behind the, about 2 feet behind the center line, another defensive guy deflects it from the same team, right? The team that shot it goes all the way down, and they're yelling that they touched it. Well, yeah, you touched it behind the center line.
Yeah.
It's still
you see that a lot.
Behind the center line.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that one either. It's like, he touched it. Or the ones, honestly,
He did.
higher level. They're 5 feet from the red line. They fire it in. You raise your arm for an icing. They're like, what do you mean? Well, it's not men's league icing. It's real icing. Like, you got to cross the red line. Yeah. You have to get the puck across the red line before you shoot it in. Now, most linesmen, they're going to give you, like, the extension of your arms. If you're close and, they're going to be somewhat reasonable on that. But when you're 5 feet or more from
the sweep.
Yeah. But if you're like 5 feet from the red line and you fire it in, it's going to be an icing.
So Scott, like in the amateur level for our USA hockey stakes, sweeping the puck across the line is nullified of icing. So you're not actually icing the puck; you're shooting. But when you get up to like the NCAA, you can't sweep it across the line and shoot it down the ice. You actually have to carry it across before you shoot it.
Right.
So the interpretation's different because the rule book's different, and that's what really drives people bonkers.
Well, that is that's a really good point to even talk about, because there are multiple rule books for these, not for each league, but everybody's playing. You have to know the rules of what you're playing under. If you're playing under USA Hockey, you're playing under the USA Hockey rule book. You're not playing under the NHL rule book or the NCAA rule book. And those are the books that seem to get confused by a lot of people. And it's probably because maybe you played college hockey and you're coaching. Maybe you played in the show and you're coaching. But the reality of it is, the people that are in the game are playing under USA Hockey rules, and that's the rules you need to know. Just like an error on on an icing, the puck is the last play face-off, where the play was stopped. That's where the whistle took place. That's where we're going to put the puck down. Unfortunately, for now. And I bring that up because it's actually going to change next year. It's going to go to center ice, which is what we've all wanted for like the last 12 years, I think, or more. Is it more than 12 years? I think it probably is more than 12 years. It's probably like 16 years.
It's been that way since I was 22. So 20 years. It's been that way. Yeah, so it's finally going to go where we've all wanted it. Every rule book goes to center ice except for USA Hockey currently, but that will change on first. Yeah, so. But, there are different rules, and now USA Hockey is not going to have the penalty when the goalie shoots the puck out of the ice.
But in the NHL, it's still a penalty. Even if a player shoots it out in the NHL, it's a delay of game from the defensive zone. Not in the offensive zone, but from the defensive zone. And so it has to go over the glass, and it has to go untouched, meaning it can't hit the glass and go over. It's got to go clearly out. But, we're taking that away in USA Hockey. I'm not sure why we're taking that one away. I mean, it doesn't come into play that often. It might come into play in a men's league game with some guy that's strong enough to fire the thing up over the glass. That's probably it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I know men's league. Men's league's at the top of my mind when we're talking about youth sports rules.
Yeah, there's guys that can fire the puck that have a goalie stick for sure. And there's some U18 guys that, high school goalies that can fire the puck.
I've used it before. It's not very common.
Yeah.
So, but it does happen. And you know where it typically happens? Where they have that short 4-foot glass or the 3-foot glass. So like a McFetrich that has short glass on the side, like the old NHL glass that you climb up on. 6 foot.
Yeah,
correct.
For sure.
That's where it happens a lot. It just is what it is. So, oops, chose the wrong golf club out of the bag.
Right. It's not a 60-degree wedge. It's a 7-iron.
There you go.
Let's talk about pegs for a second. This time of year, you have goalies that are going into the nets and knocking them off. Players knock them off. There's a lot of play down by the goal. And typically once you have a net come off, the ice kind of breaks out a little bit. It gets harder and harder to get the net to stay in place, even with the pegs on. A lot of people complain, but it's just the way it is. Unless you see somebody come over and shove the net off, you're not going to assess a penalty. It's not going to be a delay of game. Just live with it, because you're going to have that side next period, and guess what? The same thing may be happening to you, that you bump the net and it just comes off fairly easily. But why don't we see more people using what we would call the college pegs? The college pegs are the very, very lightweight rubber pegs, but they have like two screws or three.
You said two things. You said two things in the public world: light and plastic rubber. Okay, could you imagine? Because they're not steel and they're not indestructible.
They stay in much better.
I get it. It's just they break down faster, more than likely. They're probably more expensive. I guarantee you, the latter is the case there.
Are they legal for USA Hockey for games? Could a high school team bring them and put them in?
Doesn't say anywhere that you can't use them. It just says net pegs that are designed.
So, for all the coaches that like to complain about the pegs, I tell them, buy some new pegs. Like, your pegs are worn down. The metal is like sheared down to nothing. They're like flat. But, buy some new pegs.
I like the teams that complain about the pegs in their home rink.
Right, absolutely.
That's my favorite. I'm like, it's your rink. Buy some new pegs. Start a GoFundMe page. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, it's your rink.
I mean, I'm even surprised at some of the netting in some of these facilities.
$150.
Like, this is your facility, and you got, like, horrible nets. Like, come on.
You ever strung a net, Scott?
No, I have not. I haven't had the pleasure.
I have.
I've worked in a couple rinks where I felt like I strung nets because I had to put enough laces in there to, bring them back to playability. But no, I've not strung a net. I'm sure you have, because you ran a rink, didn't you? Weren't you a rink manager at one point?
Ops manager. Yeah.
Ops manager.
I redid the 8 nets that they had there. Yeah, I redid the 8 nets that they had there. Once or twice. I don't know. I did them a lot, but I did them at another rink. I worked at a park district, and they used to have 8 rotating nets, and they always had the best nets ever. I'm not going to name the rink, but it was always part of their budget to do the nets.
Well, why not name the rink? If it's a nice rink and they take care of it, give them some credit.
I don't like to call people out on good or bad. You know that, so they know who they are. Right. Plus, they would know. I worked for them for quite a few years, but every summer there would be 2 of us that we'd be there, and they'd always have 2 people there, and that was part of the park district's thing. One would clean or whatever, but during the summer we'd have a lot of downtime, right? A lot of empty ice. It was your job to restring the nets. So we'd unstring them, then restring them, and let me tell you, it's a task to do. Yeah. It's a lot of work, and it's fun, but it's a lot of work.
Well, I see them. I mean, I see from time to time, I might see them in a garage or in a parking lot, and they've got them out there, and they're painting them. They usually paint them, let them dry, and then they string them up. And I'm sure it is a lot of work. It's a big job, and they probably have to be done, I would guess, at least once a year if you're going to keep them in somewhat nice shape, nice condition. Do they last more than a year?
Yeah, a lot of those ones you're seeing are multiple years, especially
the
bad ones.
Yeah, but most of the nicer rinks, I see them changing out probably once a year on the nets, I would think.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, even then, the issue is because practice beats the crud out of them. Right. So, like, even if you look at some of the different levels of hockey, the NHL, they have different nets that they have for warm-ups.
Right.
Than they do for the actual game. They put a game net out and a warm-up net.
Yeah,
you can tell the warm-up net, the post is a little banged up.
And
goalie,
they've got
stuff like that.
They've got the rubber pads down by around the post for the goalies, so that they're not banging their skates into the iron. Trying to save the blade for the actual game, so they don't have to redo everything. But so definitely.
Yeah, because it takes so long to change blades nowadays. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah. Well, it didn't it used to. Like, you'd have to take, if you were the goalie, you'd have to take your pads off and your skates. That's a big job. Nowadays, you just get on your, drop down and put in a new pair.
We actually had I ran into a dad that he was a goalie, and I played against him. I ran into him probably about 3 weeks ago. And his kid is playing goalie. And it was like his dreaded thing. He's like, I don't want him to play goalie. And he's like, all right. He got him pads. And when he first got him pads, he's like, what are these? He's like, with these little clips that you clip together. And he's like, I remember I used to have to lay here and somebody'd have to lace up my legs. I'd be stuck in them for an hour and a half. Like, he was just ripping it apart. And then he's like, and then one little thing would break off the bottom, and we'd have to ship them. And he's like, nowadays, they just make replacement parts that snap in and snap off. He's like, they cost an arm and a leg, but what a convenience. He goes, and they're light. He's like, they're the lightest things ever.
Not only that, you could not go play in a game. If you bought new pads when I was a teenager and I was a goalie,
you couldn't move.
They were the leather horsehair. Those things did not budge. If you dropped down, you were not getting back up. They were like concrete blocks going down. There was no give, no bend. You had to oil those things. You had to put them under, like, in your mattress, like, bend them down and leave them in a bent position to get some curve. And, then you had to work on them and practicing them till they got a little bit of broken in so you could even play. Same thing with the catching glove. Like, you got a new catching glove. That thing was like a rock, man. You were not opening or closing it. You'd be like this and it didn't budge. You had to oil it. You had to put pucks or baseballs in there and put it under your mattress and get it to start forming a pocket. I mean, it was a lot of work. If you're a goalie, even when I grew up, you got your masks made. They were custom made. They took a shoebox lid and they cut a circle, for your face, and they dropped this shoebox lid over your head like this. They gave you a straw and you laid on a table. You laid on a table and they threw plaster over your face and you laid there for like an hour till it would dry. And you couldn't move because if you moved, you kind of screwed up like the placement of everything. And then it becomes a reverse process to make your mask.
Hold on, Scott. Was there electricity when all this was going on?
And I walked 10 miles to school up the mountain too in the snow, just so you know.
Well, hey, nobody walked to school today, and it didn't even snow, okay?
Right.
I mean, it snowed, but, come on.
Yeah, I know. They were all expecting Snowmageddon again, but it didn't happen. Maybe tonight. They say we could get 2 more inches, so we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway.
Looks nice out right now.
Yeah. You got a room with a view. I don't have a room with a view. I'm in a, dark studio.
I do.
Here.
I got that Christmas wreath down, so that was good.
Now you can see again.
So... Yeah.
But yeah, like the equipment is unbelievable. Like that they can put on a brand new pair of pads and go out and play in them. Like these guys don't hesitate. Oh, we're going to an outdoor game? Oh, maybe I'll wear them once in practice because I don't want to get any puck marks on them. So like you guys, if you're going to shoot on me, shoot in my glove. I don't want any marks on my pads when we go out for the outdoor game. And here they are with like brand new gear. I don't know how they can do it. Like that is pretty cool. I mean, even now, like how long do you put a new pair of skates on and skate on them before you want to work even like a men's league or a low level game? You know, nobody wants to just put new skates on and go out there and go do 6 games that day.
So the last 3 pairs of skates I've had, Scott, and you're gonna call me crazy, I have put them on Friday morning of CCM weekend.
Yeah, you're psychotic.
Take them off since.
Psychotic.
But I'll
Just
tell
a
you this,
glutton for punishment.
The reason is my feet are gonna hurt anyway. Beyond belief. My legs are gonna hurt beyond belief. I might as well break these bad boys in, and let me tell you, the last pair that I did, I put them on, and it was night and day because the boot had life in it again. You know how boots, when they get broken down, they don't have any life anymore now, which they never used to have. It used to be all you, but now the boot has life to it. But I can tell you this last set I put on, a wonder. I put it on, no problems, didn't make my feet hurt, nothing. And remember, I skate with no socks on.
Yeah, I know. Well, so, here's the a good way to look at this. 2 pairs of skates ago. So I've got a new pair this season. My other pair I had for like 2 seasons. The other pair lasted me 1 year. And that's why we always talk about buying the better skates, buying the pro skate. I bought one that was like down a notch, wasn't a top of the line skate, but it was very comfortable. I could almost go out and be in it on day 1 after it was heated and set up for my foot. But within a year, it felt like a high top gym shoe from the 70s with 0 support. I was like tweaking I felt like I was tweaking my ankle with nobody even around me. Like, that kind of didn't feel good. There's just no support to them whatsoever. So, as you buy the better skates, like the pair I have now that I'm still playing or still reffing in, I've had for a couple years. It's getting to that point, it's starting to break down. You can get 2-3 years out of them, and then they break down. But, this is why we tell you, spend the money, get a good pair of skates.
Little money in the skates. That's. If you're gonna buy,
get that $1,200, $1,300 pair of skates. You're gonna like them.
Yeah, or just get the next year's year's model at the end of the year. You can do
Absolutely.
that. They're much cheaper.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, and you know what, Scott? Since I changed helmets this year, and I did buy a slick helmet.
Did you buy the top of the? Did you buy the top of the line one with the printed interior?
No. I bought the second one. I didn't get the print. I didn't want to. I didn't want to go through all that. But I know what you're talking about. Yep. I got the second one, and I'm going to tell you, the thing is so nice. It is unbelievable. They have so many adjustments on them now that it just blows my mind away. Like it's the most comfortable helmet I've ever worn. So, I spent a little bit more. I normally don't because I'm like, it's a helmet. But I was like, to try something different. I would say, that's a big one. Also, your Under Armour, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Don't buy the cheapest stuff. Buy something that wicks because the stuff I got.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I have probably like 6 sets of the good stuff that I bought probably 10 years ago. Some of it's getting pretty threadbare because it gets washed after every day. But we go through a lot of stuff, and on a weekend, you multiple games, you're changing gear sometimes 3-4 times a day. But I really like that stuff, and if you wear that, I can wear that year round. I bought some stuff off the internet. It's not bad. Actually, when we went to that outdoor game and I was on the bench as a coach, I wore it because it's so warm. It's so warm. The new stuff that I bought was just like, I can't wear it in most of the buildings. It's just too much. I'm frying. Like I'm dying from
the stuff.
I'm overheating.
Very, very warm.
I am overheating.
It's like paper thin though.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So, I like the good socks too. Got to have good socks. They got to be tight, like the compression socks for skating if you're going to be out there for hours. I don't know. Do you put anything inside your skates? Do you put new insoles in your skates or anything like that, or do you go just with what comes in them?
Just what comes in them.
See, I've been buying like the rubber insoles like you would put in for running shoes because I've got enough room to do it. And it just adds that much more comfort when you're on them for hours and hours. And I've got a pair. My other ones, I have memory foam inserts, and they're not like arch supporter, and they're just flat memory foam inserts that are in there. Take up a little more space. Oh, so comfortable. It's just a pleasure. Like all the little comfort, creature comforts. I got another item. I'll turn you on to this. I should really put a link for this down in the description. If I get a chance, I will. But when my squirt team was out playing at the outdoor game in that sub-zero weather, one of the parents had a pair of electric hand warmers. Oh, I bought a pair. I went online. They were like $20. Awesome. It's like a roll of quarters. You put it in your hand. I mean, you can just leave it in your pocket, and when you get a chance, you can pull it out, hold it for a couple seconds. What a difference. I highly encourage, if you work at some of these rinks, I won't mention the one that I mention every week practically, but that is just so cold. It's a nice item to have. It'll help you get through a game. Like, we're not wearing gloves out there, folks. It's pretty cold. So, having something like that, nice little creature comfort again. And, of course, the hair dryer. You got to have the hair dryer for drying your skates, all that good stuff.
I'm going to tell you, Scott, I'm going to tell you, I have a $12 Conair hair dryer that a lot of referees have where the handle folds up.
Oh, my handle doesn't fold, but I think I paid $12 for it if that, and that was with shipping. I mean,
I don't think it would dry any hair anymore because it's so beat up. But it works. It works. I don't care.
Man, mine is awesome. And I don't even put it on high. It just goes on low. Yep. The only time I use high is if I'm trying to dry socks or clothes off. A shirt that's super wet, or a pair of socks that I have to put back on because, I don't have an extra pair and got to break between games. I hate putting cold, wet equipment on and going back out there. But same thing with the skates. I left my car, my equipment in the car for a couple days, and it was unworn. I had a game that canceled, and so I just decided, well, I'll just leave the stuff in the car. But let me tell you something. Those skates still were really, really cold. It's like, oh, man, I should have taken these out. They need to be warmed up. So just having that hair dryer is enough to take the chill out of there before you go skate. Really, really great idea for you guys this time of year. And, if you're working outdoors, like, these are all great tips to have. You need your comfort.
I'd agree with you there, Scott.
So you got the new helmet.
Comfortable enough.
Did you get new gear this year too? Did you get new pants or new sweater?
I got 2 new sweaters.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor. If you're buying the sweaters, buy the good ones. Buy the pro ones. They make a big difference and they last a long time. They wash up nicely. They keep their shape. Spend the extra few bucks. It's well worth the investment. Same thing with pants. Like, get a good pair of pants. They're comfortable. The pads are already in them. They're awesome. It's an awesome way to go.
Two is if you don't know somebody that can put Velcro or something on a sweater for you, because it does cost quite a bit for them to put it on in a store.
Yep.
A lot of guys are using magnets now. And let me tell you, I skated with a guy, and they are unbelievable, those magnets. So I would highly suggest that if you don't have somebody that can do the Velcro part.
I would like to see the set that's being used. I don't have the magnets. I've seen a couple guys wear them, but they were small. I wasn't really impressed by it. But I've been using 2-sided tape. I bought a big roll about this wide. It looks like gaffer tape, but it's carpet tape. And it's 2-sided, and you just tear it off, put it on. You can get the whole crest all the way down, even to the little V area where it merges at the bottom, and it looks great. It doesn't come off. You change the tape every week or wash the jersey, change the tape. Not a big deal. The other thing I've seen guys do, if you don't want to have the Velcro sewn on, you could take a glue gun. You take the Velcro, it's got the sticky stuff on it. You add hot glue to it, and you put it on the jersey. It works really, really well. I mean, if you don't want to pay a seamstress to sew the stuff on, you can definitely go and use the glue gun with the Velcro, and it'll last. It'll last pretty much forever. Karen's joining us. Hey, Karen, what's going on? Let's put her comment up there. Let me switch the screen. Look at that. Isn't that cool how that works? And then we'll throw Karen up here. Karen says the original marsh pegs were 1 5/8 inches, but many arenas did not have room between the cooling lines for the 2-inch inserts required. Therefore, Fred designed 2 sizes of stepped pegs, continued, to fit into the smaller inserts on the ice. And these sizes can be used for midget level hockey and above. Marsh pegs should not be used below midget level. At the end of, hang on, man, she's going so fast here, I can't keep up with her. The 2002 season, National Hockey League requested a longer and thicker peg. So for that season, Fred supplied a new 1 7/8 inch peg. Let's keep going here again. One more comment.
So those
other size
these
exclusive.
are the ones that drop in though, Scott.
Yeah, so the NHL has
where they have the hole.
It looks like a hose.
You're talking about
the ones I'm talking about look like they're like this is a flashlight I'm holding. They're thicker. It's thicker,
a spider
and
almost.
It's very light. It's like a rubber. It's a plastic rubber,
like
very. And then it's got 2, like bolts like that long, sticking out of it. And you got to. They're light, so it's hard to even kind of tap them into the ice. You have to kind of stick them up in the net and then drop the net down, and then they don't go anywhere. They use them for college games. Like if you're out at NIU, up in West Dundee, they've always got those up there for the college games. So I'm guessing the colleges bring those pegs with them because those pegs are never around for the other games that are up there.
NIU has their own.
Yeah.
NIU has their own.
And thanks for that, Karen. Really appreciate all that information. It's very kind of you to chime in and share that information with us. So hope you're doing well. Are you busy? I'm sure you're busy. Yeah, 'tis the season. But yeah, so it's a little bit on some equipment and pegs. We just kind of winged it today a little bit. I mean, we could talk about some other stuff before we go, but
end it on a good note. No, let's end it on a good note because I've seen where this goes.
We can take it. We can go down the tubes. Is that what you're saying? We got a few more comments here. Let's see.
Keep it on a good note today.
Justin's checking in. He says, I love the pegs we have at Notre Dame, triple spike. Are they, well, now you know what? There's triple spike, and if you go up to Lake Forest College, has the steel, the metal pipe.
Forest has them.
But then it's got like the little, like 2 short little things like this, but they have
spider legs.
Several of them around the peg, and those work great, and you don't see those in many places.
There's 4 too.
Yeah, and then the one I'm talking about is it's almost like a light green plastic, and with the 2 spikes coming out, and the spikes are just big wood screws. That's all they are. They're just long wood screws that have been inserted into that thing, but they work. They work really well. Karen says, yes, on the 2-screw button or bottom, they range from $65 to $150 a pair. Yep, so about $300 to get a pair for your team if you want to have them. And he says single spike is no good. Yay and nay. I think for the younger kids, if you've got squirts and peewees, I think even up to bantam, they're probably fine. I think once you get to U15 or U15 and above, they could go with the better pegs, in my opinion.
Scott, do you remember when the NHL in the 90s tried those magnetic pegs?
I don't. I don't remember those. No, I don't.
I remember that. I think it was only 1 year they tried it, and it was like if seized on the net hard, it came off. It was.
Yeah,
they tried it. It was
sure.
a good idea.
Yeah. Justin, did we talk about the Seattle incident? Crazy guy. Yeah, tune into the beginning of the show.
Ago.
That was one of the first things we commented on. Absolutely. You know, we got to cover crazy where we can, and that was crazy. So we absolutely did that. And Karen says double and triple spike. Yeah. Yeah. Typically, I've been seeing the double spike, the ones with the two wood screws in there. That's been working pretty well. All right. Well,
different manufacturers.
Anything else on the agenda coming up here, since it's playoffs and all kinds of good stuff going on and it's crazy?
The one thing I can say is anybody watching, because it is the 12th of February, double check your spam. Make sure that you didn't get a national invite. Just
is that where mine went?
There.
Is that where mine went?
Just double check. So just double check, they do let the locals know sometimes just so that they can bug you. But, just keep an eye out for it. And for anybody going, congratulations. It's a big thing. Good luck in your travels. That can always be complex. And then, good luck with the games because you're very highly scrutinized at that point. So do your best, work hard.
Yep. Don't present the puck. Don't present the puck. Bend those knees on the face-offs. Know your positioning. Get that arm up straight. Tuck it in.
We have a whole video on it.
All the stuff that you're supposed to do, you should be doing when you go to those tournaments because that's what they like to see. So, all right. I think we are going to kind of wrap it up unless anybody out there has something else they want us to chime in on. It's playoff season. It's busy. I don't know about you. I'm going to skate tonight. Are you skating tonight?
Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon? You're not skating?
I am.
Yeah, I'm skating too.
I know I'm skating.
I was thinking, I wonder if we'll get a cancellation or something like that. No, it's not happening. Not happening. She said, is Rachel going to be in charge at Canlan this weekend? Oh, is that for the Nihil tournament?
As far as I know. Yeah, she'll be. The Huskies are hosting, so she'll more than likely she'll be there. I don't know if she'll be there the whole time, but she will be there. Well, actually, starting tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I think. Good. Yeah, tomorrow is.
Are we covering all the games? Is everything pretty well covered now? Are we? Some people starting to sit on the side.
What do you mean?
I'm just asking. Is easy to cover all the games? We're getting a lot of requests. Everything's or have some guys decided I'm done for the season?
A lot of referees stop after Thanksgiving. That's just fact of it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we've talked about that. That's why I ask. So it kind of goes through the CCM tournament. Yeah.
Same trend.
And next year, when do we start registration? We're starting earlier next year, aren't we?
Supposed to open April 1st.
Or is that an April Fool's joke?
Will be open.
Is that an April Fool's joke?
You know what? I didn't even think of that yet. That's,
we'll be open April 1st.
Well, everything else opens April 1st, so I wouldn't see any possible, but I haven't gotten anything. So we'll have an update here shortly because we have more meetings coming up. So if I find anything out, I'll let everybody know.
Sounds good. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you all for joining us. We do this every Wednesday starting at 5:30 here from Chicago. I'm Scott Smokin Silz along with our referee-in-chief, Brad Baumruck. Have fun out there. Be safe. Do a great job. Work hard in those playoff games. These teams have worked hard to get to that point, and they deserve the best. So make sure you guys step it up for them, okay? And with that being said, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out, everybody. I can't find the finish button. There we go. See you guys.